The half-ton trucks just keep getting better. The latest F-150 is great. The brand new Chevy Silverado is a pretty darn good truck. And this one's good too. This is full Texas spec. This is a limited edition 4x4, and it's got enough stitching and leatherwork to make the most ardent Dallas businessman beam with pride. This isn't how I would spec my truck. I wouldn't get one in white paint with the chrome, but the Ram in general looks pretty good. Gone is the crosshair grille. So, pour one out for the long-lived crosshair grille that was across all Dodge vehicles for quite some time. My favorite spec, of course, is the Rebel, which is an off-road aggressive, non-Raptor ready, but a truck that can go get rough and tumble dirty and do great things and have a lot of fun. There are a lot of trims to talk about here. We have this Limited, the Laramie, the Longhorn. There's still a Bighorn in some areas. There's a Texas version. There's the Leisure Suit Larry. There's the Kylo Ren. You have the Ram Rebel Yell, Billy Idol version. There's the Ram Windows 3.1. There's the Tradesman. There's the just regular Ram. There's the Baby Goat. No matter which edition you choose, the standard engine is a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6. It makes 305 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, and it comes standard with the Fiat Chrysler e-Torque system. It's a mild hybrid application. It replaces the alternator and the standard 12-volt battery with a 48-volt system so that you can occasionally get injection of torque when needed, 90 pound-feet to be exact. Say when you're just leaving the line when you're towing something, it can come in handy. Now, the better engine, the engine that you're all more curious about, is the 5.7 liter Hemi V8. That's the one we have here. It makes 395 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque. And optionally, this one can actually be fitted with the e-Torque system as well. And with that setup, you get occasional boosts of 130 pound-feet of torque when needed. Either engine is paired with the 8-speed automatic gearbox, and I'll be honest, it's surprisingly a little lazy here. Occasionally on upshifts, it's just like, okay. Downshifts, a little lazy occasionally, but when you do put your foot all the way into it, sounds good. Sounds real good. And it gets up and goes. That gearbox is, when you upshift, it's like trying to run in pants that are too loose. You start to run, but you have to grab your pants, but once you finally grab them, you can go and catch up to everybody else. Maybe your gym class was different than mine and your mom bought the right size jeans. I don't know. Where the Ram really shines, though, is on the inside. This is really nice in here. I gotta be honest. This one, as tested, is $69,000. So it's a high trim truck. Entry level for a Ram is $31,000. You're never gonna find one for that price unless you are buying for fleet customers. They're gonna be $40,000, $50,000, and then $69,000. But like I said, Harman Kardon sound system that sounds fantastic. The seats are excellent. This is a crew cab. The rear seat legroom is the best you're gonna find in any modern half-ton truck. No question about it. There is tons of legroom back there, and then you let the light shine in with this glass roof over your head. I've got heated and cooled seats up here. I've got a massive optional extra. I believe it comes standard on this trim. It's part of the Uconnect 4 package. This is a 12-inch vertical orientation screen. It is huge. It is unexpected. You step in and it's like the black rectangle from 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's huge. You can split screen it so you can have nav on the bottom. You can arrange it actually however you want. So right now I have audio up top. I have climate control down below. You can switch it to nav. You can move it to apps. You can change it around how you want it, or you can just have it as a singular display. It is huge. I cannot say that enough. It is huge. I have to say it again. But it's cool. If you don't spec it with that, you get Uconnect 4 on an 8-inch screen, and then the entry level setup is a 5-inch screen with Uconnect 3. Regardless, Uconnect is a great infotainment system, so you can't go wrong across the board. The steering feel is properly weighted. It's not too light, it's not too heavy. The brakes feel excellent. Throttle response when the transmission does its job is fantastic as well. This one has more creature comforts too, like power side steps. It has the Ram box, which is better integrated in this new truck into the bed, and it's sealable, so you could put ice in there and drinks and food. This would be an ultimate tailgate machine. And then there are drain plugs on either side of the Ram boxes to let all the water out when you're done, and there's a Ram box on each side. And then even with the Ram boxes, there's still plenty of room in the bed back there, especially with this cover they put on there. It's a little bit higher than the bed height, the bedside height, so there's tons of room actually underneath the cover. And the Ram boxes don't really encroach. It's nice and square because the Ram boxes basically chop out the fender width. So I like it. It's nice. Again, this is like full Texas spec. I can't say that enough. There is pinstriping as a trim, like pinstriping. I don't know. It just doesn't seem trucky to me. There's intricate stitching in the door panels. The gauges look cool though. I really like the way the gauges have a blue trim ring around them. If you could spec this in a much better way, and you would get it looking how you want it. Some of you might like this. Some of you might love the white paint, and it is high quality white paint. I like the color of the interior, this like soft tan with black elements. The pinstriping is ridiculous. I can't stress that enough. This pinstripe trim is insane. Again, for me personally, I'd go with a nicely spec'd Ram Rebel somewhere in the $50,000 range. Now, this wears coil springs in the rear instead of the leafs like most of the competition, but this specific truck is fitted with the air suspension setup so that you can raise and lower the truck. This actually has an aero setting. Right now, it's in normal. I can hit a button and pop it down to Aero 2, and it'll lower and tuck, and you'll get better airflow and better fuel economy. And then there's a full off-road 2 setting. So there's an access entry setting. There are 1, 2, 3. There's 5 different levels of height adjustability. With off-road 2, once you get over a certain speed, it'll drop down to off-road 1. If you keep going faster, it'll go to normal. And if you have it set so that it will automatically go to Aero 2, once you pick up enough speed, it'll drop down to there as well. It's a really, really nice truck. It's also quiet inside. They did a really good job of mitigating the road noise. The tires on this, you're not getting a lot of rolling thunder, though there's not a ton of grip either. If you come to a stoplight and you take a turn, if you're turning at an intersection, and you just roll on the throttle, you're not mashing it, you're not being an idiot, you're just normally driving. Every now and then you'll get some tires squealing and not like burning rubber, but like it's leaning onto the tire, and it shouldn't be taxing the tire at all, but it feels like the tire is working harder than it should be, and it's ridiculous. You look like an idiot, like you're trying to burn out at every intersection, and that's not the case, and that's just a choice of tire. But the trade-off is on-road tire noise is negated. The only real noise you get, I believe, is from the mirrors, which picks up at highway speed, but otherwise this cabin is perfectly quiet. Pair that with the comfortable seats, the great sound system, and all that stuff, and you have one fantastic truck. Ford, Chevy, Ram, any one you pick, I could defend your choice across the board. These are all really good trucks, and this one's no exception. Dun 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 dun.